So, Assalamualaikum to Prof. Zainal and my fellow friends. My name is AIDA HAYANI BINTI BASINI with the matrix number of 241100073, and today I'll be talking about the interpigmentary systems, or the study of the skin, which is called dermatology. So the content of this video will be the definitions and then functions, which I will be talking and focusing more on the vitamin D synthesis, and then layers of the skins, the acne formations, and also the treatment for it, and lastly the specialist that I look up into. So let's start with the definitions, which the skin is the largest organ and the outer covering of the body, and it also composed of epithelium, connective tissues, muscles, nerves, blood vessels, and also associated structure like hair follicles and gland. So before I went to talking more into detail about the vitamin D synthesis, I'll be talking more about the overall functions of the skins, which, if you can see from this left side right here, is the protective functions of the skin. The first one is that the cell junctions prevents bacterial invasions, and then fat prevents evaporations of water, guarding against the dehydrations which prevent the water loss from the body. The oil sebum keeps skin and hair oily and has a bactericidal effects, which it can kill bacteria. Melanin protects skins from the UV light, and Langerhans cells in the epidermis involved in the immune systems. So other than these functions, it also helps in the regulations of the body temperature, sensory and cutaneous functions, excretory functions, and lastly, the one that we'll be focusing more is the vitamin D synthesis. So now let's talk about the vitamin D synthesis in the body or in the skin. So the first step is that when the skin is exposed to the UV radiations, it triggers the conversions of 7-dehydrocholesterol to cholecalciferol, which is called vitamin D3. And then the vitamin D3 produced in the skin, which is the step just now, or we can obtain it from the dietary source like fish, meats, and also supplements, will travel to the liver and convert to 25-hydroxyvitamin D3. And then 25-hydroxyvitamin D3 will move to the kidney and convert it to 1,25-dehydroxyvitamin D3, where it will be released to the bloodstream to maintain the calcium balance in our body. So now moving on to the parts of the skin. So there are three parts of the skin, which is epidermis, dermis, and also hypodermis. So now let's talk about the epidermis first. So epidermis is a non-vascular and a keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, while dermis is a vascular and have connective tissues layer, and hypodermis, or which is known as subcutaneous layer, which consists of connective tissues and also adipose tissues. So these pictures right here is showing the 5 layers of the epidermis. So starting from the bottom is the stratum basale, and the following is stratum spinosum, stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum, and lastly the most superficial layer of the epidermis is stratum corneum. And for your information, so stratum lucidum only exists in thick skin. So now let's start with explaining the stratum basale. So stratum basale is the deepest layer in the stem cells for the skin, while stratum spinosum has a spiny-shaped appearance, and this is where the keratin synthesis will begin. Stratum granulosum is filled with keratohyalin granules, which is the functions is to generate the large amounts of keratins, and lamellar granules to prevent water loss from the body by releasing a water-repelling glycolipid. Stratum lucidum is where the cells will begin to die and leave behind a keratin filaments, and lastly, stratum corneum is where it has a flattened dead cells filled with soft keratin filaments, and these will continuously desquamated and replaced by a new cell. So other than the 5 layers of epidermis that I mentioned earlier, there are also some types of cells presented at between of these 5 layers of epidermis. The first one is corneocytes, which is the dead skin cells at the outermost layers, which is at the stratum corneum. And the next is the keratinocytes, which is located at the stratum spinosum, and the functions is to synthesize keratin. Next is the Langerhans cells, which is also located at the stratum spinosum, and it is involved in the immune response. Next is the melanocytes, which is located between the stratum basale and stratum spinosum, and the functions is to synthesize the pigment that gives us the dark color of the skin. and it also absorbs UV radiations and reduces the UV-induced damage of the skin. And lastly, Mercury cell, which is located at the stratum basali and is most abundant in our fingertips as it acts as a mechanoreceptors. So now I'll be talking about the acne formations and also the treatment for it. So how do these acne formations happen? So it started when there is an increase of keratin productions and also excess sebum secretions that will cause the corneocytes to stick together. And as I mentioned earlier, corneocytes is the dead skin cells located at the outermost layer of the epidermis, which is at the stratum corneum. So the second picture is showing you that the shed corneocytes and sebum will accumulate to form a plug that will cause a closed comedo, or we call it as a whitehead, or open comedo, which we can call it as blackhead. And then the third picture is showing you that the Propionibacterium acnes, which is a type of bacteria by the way, will proliferate and initiating an immune response characterized by a mild inflammation. This is where the papule or the pustule will start to showing. Then lastly, the cyst or the nodule will form, which is a marked inflammatory response and a rupture of the follicular wall, which may lead to scarring. On the left and the right side of this slide also, you can see there are 6 types of acne that can show up on our skins. So now let's talk about the treatment for these acne formations, or to make sure that these acne that does not show up on our skin, or to prevent from becoming even worse. So the first one is that we can use salicylic acids, which it helps to remove the top layer of the damaged skins and prevent the hair follicles from clogging. Or we can do a laser treatment, which is a light therapy that delivers the heat to scarred collagens. This relies on body wound healing response to create and growth of new skin. So Dr. Kartini Farah Rahim is one of the specialists that I look up into in this field. She has a diploma of dermatology from the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow and has been elected as the memberships of Royal College of Physicians of the United Kingdom in the 2007. She also has a degree of Advanced Masters in Dermatology by UKM in 2011. And she has been working at the Hospital Kuala Lumpur and Hospital Serdang, and also has been a senior lecturer at the UPM for more than 10 years. So that's all from me. I hope my presentations and my video will bring a good benefits to whoever is watching about the integumentary system, or the study of the skin, which is the dermatology and one of the specialty that I wish to pursue in the future. Thank you.